let's just go back to the principle of, to get any kind of psychological safety in a relationship, for a relationship to have psychological safety, emotional safety, we need to remove all judgment. And when people's identities and sense of self are attached to some very specific judgments, it gets hot, and it is painful. The anatomy of that is painful. So it makes sense to me why in this moment, it sounds like your parents are in a place and you're in a place where you have the intention and the ideal of being in relationship and being unconditionally loving to one another. Like, this is the thing you're all fighting for, as a North Star. So you're aligned on that North Star, the direction you're moving in. But in the meantime, there's a lot of unwinding and a lot of undoing and a lot of unlearning and a lot of re-examining and a lot of sorting and shifting happening as we update to how it feels for all four people involved here. And because of the amount of judgment and condemnation that created the rift in the first place, it will take some time for those rifts to heal. So it might be helpful, it might be soothing to make peace with the dis-ease and the tentativeness and the fragility and the hypervigilance that would make sense to be in the space right now. They're essentially saying, we're going to do our best, and you correct my language and make it more accurate, but it sounds to me like what they're saying is, we're going to do our best to love you as you are and accept you as you are and kind of get over this. But we don't really want to have a lot of deep, meaningful conversations about it. And we don't have a lot of emotional skillfulness to bring to it. And our pathway is to kind of like, can we just focus on what's good and ignore the things where we disagree? Can we try that strategy for a while? I would need to make peace with where my parents are at and figure out how I can work with them as they are without demanding that they be different. And that's hard, because if I were in that position, I would have a deep longing for them to be more like, I want you to be more emotionally intelligent, more emotionally awake, more available. I want to have more deep, meaningful conversations. I want you to have the ability to be more authentic and kind and connected. And I'd have this, like, I want you to be able to bring me something different. And I think there would be a little bit of work in the early stages of like, I have this vision of what I would like to go to bat for in the long term. And there's some sadness and mourning and surrendering to it not being available in the short term. It's not here yet. It doesn't mean that we might not get there one day, but right now it isn't here. So how do I bring non-judgment, open-hearted relationality while taking really good care of myself, working with them as they are, which is the one way that I can begin putting deposits in the bucket of building trust. It's going to be many small interactions over time that are fundamentally different than before, repeated over and over again, before this thing is going to shift and feel different. In the early stages, it's not going to feel different. Stay in choicefulness, get your needs met in other places so that you can resource yourself, work on your own capacity. And to the degree that you don't want to engage and don't want to serve in this way and don't want to give in this way, honor that. Let yourself take care of yourself and your wife first. Get your needs met, and then only offer to your parents what can really come from a place of generosity where you see it as really meeting your own needs as well.